Hello everyone, welcome along to the very first episode of a brand spanking new podcast brought to you by your favourite website, favourite people, the Lazy Heretic here, also known as Jason, along with my co-host, the beautiful, I'm not allowed to say beautiful anymore, the strikingly handsome Papa Tay.
I was eating pods.
You were.
While we were podcasting. It was great.
It was great because the other day I said, we need to go cast some pods. And then you were like, that's right, there's this snack called pods. And so we're going to get it the next time that we podcast so that we can eat pods while we podcast, so we can cast pods.
Can cast while
It's great. So anyway, in case you haven't figured out by the title of this podcast, this is our brand new movie reviewing, talking about spoilers podcast. So just a spoiler warning right up front. Everything that we discuss in this podcast from here on in, every episode will be spoilers.
We will say spoilers.
Well, we'll try, but I'll probably forget.
I will probably say spoilers.
You probably will. That's good.
But I mean, it could be like 10 minutes in.
Yeah. So spoilers.
So spoilers. By the way, spoilers.
Yeah. You probably should have seen this movie anyway, Thor Ragnarok, by now. We actually did this podcast
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. And like right after Thor came out, and then we found out that the audio had been corrupted, and then we just couldn't make time for like another week.
I got a full-time job. It was weird.
Yeah,
I was working 5 days a week.
Bro,
I mean,
what's up with that?
What's wrong with
What's up with that, man?
Weird,
yeah.
You know?
And so then we're like, well, Justice League comes out in like 4 days. We want to do that one next.
We got to
get Thor out before it's old news and Justice League is taken over. So anyway, we're going to talk about Thor Ragnarok. It's going to be bantering and lots of toing and froing and lots of spoilers. So, Taylor, why don't you enlighten us? What's Thor Ragnarok about?
Bro, Thor Ragnarok
Plot summary.
Is just straight banter the whole way through. That is it. It's just Kiwi humor from start to finish, which I actually loved.
Yeah.
But basically, the plot line goes somewhere along the lines of a mix of multiple Marvel comics.
Yep. So it involves the actual Thor Ragnarok comic a little bit.
Yeah, and so the basic plot line is the destruction of, the destruction of, where do they live?
Asgard.
Yeah, that place. So basically what happens is Thor's older sister,
yes,
the goddess of death.
Spoilers, Thor has an older sister.
Yeah, and
her
she's the
name's
goddess
Hela.
of death.
She's the goddess of death, the main antagonist of this film.
But actually not the one who destroys Asgard in the end.
No. So there's kind of like 3 antagonists in this film, eh? Like if you set it up like that. There's her, she's the main one, but then you've also got the Grand Master on Sakaar, and then you've got Surtur, the fire demon, there as well.
Because basically what they tried to do is mash like 4 comic books into one movie.
Yeah.
So there's multiple protagonists. But yeah, essentially Thor gets, while trying to stop Hela getting to
Asgard.
He actually leads her... Well, no, Loki leads her to Asgard by going through the Bifrost, and she just follows.
Yeah.
And then they get basically smashed out of...
We should rewind a little bit, because the film opens with Thor having gone on a quest for... What does he say? He's like, went on the quest for some Infinity Stones, and then he's like, but didn't find any. And then he ended up in the cage with the skeleton.
Yeah, that's right.
That he's talking to.
Yeah.
And then he like lands out, comes face to face with Surtur, and he's like, I'm going to stop Ragnarok. And then he has that moment where he's like, calls his hammer, and he's like, I'm going to break out of these chains. And then nothing comes, and he's like, wait. And he's calling his hammer, and he's waiting, and then...
Oh, yeah.
And then that sets up that first action scene, which is awesome.
It's so funny.
It's like a callback to the action scene in the first Thor movie when they invade the Frost Giants. And Thor's like spinning his hammer and just knocking them all out the way as they come running at him. He's just like, dung, 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 dung. Yeah. And they're just going flying. And then he smashes Surtur on the head and takes his crown to stop Ragnarok. And then he goes back to Asgard. And there's this great scene where he arrives back and there's this play going on, which is like reenacting the fight, like Loki's death scene.
Man, I was doing the short version. You're doing the long version.
Loki's death scene of from Thor: The Dark World. Spoilers. Who's playing Loki?
Oh, Matt Damon.
Matt Damon is playing Loki.
It's the greatest.
Do you know what I found out later? The guy playing Thor is Chris Hemsworth's older brother, Luke Hemsworth.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it is. And then there's Sam Neill playing Odin. So good.
So much banter.
Oh, it's so great.
Like I said, this movie is just straight banter the whole way through.
It's so good. And then he discovers that, he figures out, and you and I had the discussion last time about whether he already knew or not, and I thought he did because it was too fast for him to figure out. But he'd been busy trying to stop Ragnarok, and you're like, nah. So,
I don't think he knew. But
so he figures out Loki.
We have skipped over. Well, okay.
Go.
Let me quickly finish.
Okay.
Plot line, and then we'll actually talk about the main points because you kind of.
Okay.
Yeah. Main points.
Go.
He ends up on some weird ass planet where the Grandmaster's basically holding like Greek and Roman gladiator fights.
Yep.
He starts fighting Hulk, who, as anyone who's watched the Marvel universe will know, in the last Avengers, Hulk flew off on a plane and disappeared. So Hulk's been crash landed on this place, and he hasn't turned back to Bruce Banner for whatever 2 years. So Hulk's got a little bit more of like an ability to understand and talk to people now, which is a 50-50 with me, I guess.
Yeah.
In the comics, it does happen. I mean, you Planet Hulk, and
you get Mr. Fix-It, the Grey Hulk, and
yeah,
guys like that. Yeah.
But anyway, so that happens, and then he finds this badass, basically Asgardian warrior, who was a Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And she's like doesn't want to have anything to do with him, and then obviously through like half of the movie, basically, he convinces her to come back and save Asgard, and then they all go back to Asgard, and basically there's this big ass fight, and then Thor has a flashback to his father, and he's like, "I'm not strong enough," and
But you forgot to tell them, spoilers, Odin dies.
Oh yeah, Odin's already dead.
Yeah, by the time Hela arrives, because Odin's life force is what's keeping her imprisoned.
Yeah. So Odin's dead, and then Odin, like, in this like moment of self-pity, comes back in like a dream trance state,
Vision thing, yeah.
and basically is like, "You were stronger than me." Blah blah blah. And so Thor's like, "Oh, okay, sweet as," and then he comes back. Oh, and then he has a revelation that like Asgard isn't a place, Asgard is a people.
Yeah.
And if you're a Kiwi, everything's about people.
That's right.
So,
it is
anyway,
people.
I think there was a bit of moldy heritage coming in there.
Interesting. Taika Waititi did not write this film, though. First one he's directed that he didn't write.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He didn't even... No, he would have had massive input, though, surely.
He didn't get a credit for the writing, though.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm just gonna make that assumption because I like that assumption.
Good.
And you can disagree with me, but that's fine.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just letting you know.
Oh no, I mean the people. The people can disagree with me.
The people.
I will ignore them, but the people can disagree with me. Anyway, so that happens.
If you want to disagree with Taylor, you can send an email to thelazyheretic@gmail.com.
Yeah, do that, because I'm not the one that reads those emails. Jason is. Anyway, so basically then what happens is that like everyone's like, oh, well, we can't actually defeat Hela because she's too OP, which is interesting. But anyway, she's like...
Considering Thor's more powerful than Odin, and Odin's the one who locked her away in the first place?
Yeah, basically, there's a little bit of like... let's just ignore...
Artistic license?
Yeah, artistic license. Let's just say that. And there's, yeah, sure, you could argue, oh, he hasn't unlocked his full power yet. But trust me, we're going to get back there later on in the podcast. But basically, they decide that actually the evil fire dude, Surtur, who's like, the way he destroys Asgard is he needs his crown to be put in the eternal flame.
Yep.
Which is actually part of Hela's power, is Asgard is the eternal flame.
Yeah, so she draws her power from Asgard.
Yeah.
So the longer she stays on there, the more powerful she gets.
Yeah. So anyway, basically, Loki just drops the fire hunt. Basically, in the end of the day, Loki and Thor are the actual ones who destroy Asgard.
Yeah, so they end up initiating Ragnarok, which is what Thor stopped at the start of the film.
Yeah. So Thor, at the end of it, Thor basically had to restart Ragnarok to stop Hela just like kind of taking over the universe, which actually I think would have been an interesting thing, because then when Thanos rocks up at the end of the show in his big spaceship as Thor and all his people flying away, you kind of go, what happens if Hela had lived and had to fight Thanos, because there can't be two queens of the universe.
That's right.
Queens.
Rulers. So the question is, though, how do people die? How do Asgardians die? Because, like, all those guys who she killed, they got stabbed, obviously, and their bodies were there. But then Odin just kind of vaporized into nothing.
Odin did a bit of a Jedi trick.
Yeah, but then his wife in the Thor: The Dark World, she got killed, and then they lit her on fire, and all the fire went up into the stars. And then, like,
And doesn't Asgardians come back?
Yeah, I don't know.
They reset?
I don't know. Oh, that's after Ragnarok. So
yeah, don't they all reset anyway?
I don't know.
So, like, Odin comes back and Thor comes back and they all come back?
But that was what Thor stopped in the comics of Ragnarok, because Ragnarok was an endless cycle of Asgard is destroyed and then it's reborn again and everything happens exactly as it happened before.
Yeah, because he goes and attacks those who sit above. But they don't...
he stopped that by doing that, because they were feeding off Ragnarok. The cycle of endless destruction kept them alive. So then he destroyed them and stopped Ragnarok and basically created the unknown future.
Yeah, except, of course, in this movie version of which I'm assuming they're not saying is canon with World 616 or whatever.
616, yeah.
616, yeah. Which, if for those who don't know, World 616 is Marvel's like generic universe. What happens in that universe actually happens. All the other universes are like side universes, so people can have fun and do whatever they want.
Like Marvel Zombies. Uncanny Marvel.
Or like
or the MCU.
Yeah. So anyway, that all happened. So that's great. And we got some big points. One of the funniest things was one of the funny comments I heard in the movie was when what about that time I turned you into a frog? Loki says to Thor.
Yeah.
You're like, lol. If you don't know, in the comics, in the comics, there was a comic book where Thor was a frog.
He turned into a frog, and then that was such a great storyline. They created Frog Thor, or Throg. And he's actual, like, a frog that has, like, a mini Mjolnir and has, like, the powers of Thor.
Bro, Throg was the jam.
Throg
is the jam.
So, anyway, yeah. And I love, like, some of the banter where, like, Thor tells the story about, and he turned into a snake one time because he knows I like snakes, and then he stabbed me. The story went nowhere.
Yeah, and actually you were talking about that, how much you liked the fact that Thor didn't get fooled by Loki's shadow clone.
It's like all of a sudden, because in in Thor, the original one, Loki uses his shadow tricks and people jump, like, oh, I will get you, and they jump right through his shadow thing. And it happened in Avengers as well, where he trapped Thor in the Hulk room.
Yeah.
And it happened again in Thor: The Dark World, where Loki is always tricking him. And then finally, like, Loki steps off to betray Thor and leaves a copy of his shadow there. And Thor's just like, oh, it happened again, kind of thing. And then Loki's like, well, you must have known. He's like, yes, but he kind of learnt, and he shocks him,
Yeah,
just
like,
he
and
leaves him
a little
there.
shock thing on him, yeah.
I
did like the fact that he did learn. He learned from.
Yeah, I think it's character development that you go, oh, good. He's like
not an idiot.
Yeah, he's the same character, but he's grown and he's matured a little bit in his understanding of. He's not just like, oh, I just love my brother and I'm going to believe that every time he says that he's changed, he has changed, or whatever, So
yeah, for sure.
So I really appreciated that. That was great.
I'm gonna drop something in here because we talked about it last time, but obviously last time doesn't exist, so we're gonna talk about it again.
Yeah.
And that was Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
And Doctor Strange is one of my favorite Marvel Universe characters. I mean, the movie was a bit like...
Yeah, you were, yeah.
No, I love the movie, but I like the whole, like, the third eye.
Yeah.
Magical power, like, kind of... I don't...
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that form.
You know what we should say, though, is before we talk about this, is that if there's no good movies that have come out, we're just going to go... So I have a collection of Marvel paraphernalia popcorn tins.
Yeah, he spends more money on the popcorn tins than on the tickets.
That's right, when we went to see it. Yeah, bro, it was great. And... So what we're going to do is, if there's no good... Obviously, Justice League is coming out, so we're going to talk about that. And Star Wars is coming out at the end of this year, so we'll talk about that. But other than that, which, I'm not hugely excited for.
I'm super excited, and Jason's been, like, bumming me out.
I've been bumming you out.
He's been
much.
It's
I'm
terrible. Ever since Disney bought it, it's bad.
I didn't. All I said was the last one was like a rehash of the original one.
Yeah, because it was.
Exactly. Which is like...
to be fair, like, I love the fact that they've finally given a female protagonist as the Jedi leader.
I don't have a problem with that, but she's a total Mary Sue.
But Rey sucks. Like, give me a good female actress. Like,
yeah. Okay. Anyway, what we'll do is we're going to go backwards through all of the popcorn tins and drink tins that I have on my shelf in my office.
It's a lot of Marvel.
Talk about it's a lot of Marvel, some Star Wars, some Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah,
some Hobbits.
Yeah, some Hobbits.
Some Hobbits. I think there's a few surprises in there, but a lot of Marvel. Yeah, but that's good. So anyway, Doctor Strange, I'm sure will come up because that was two Marvel movies ago. I think it was Guardians, Spider-Man, and before that was Doctor Strange. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, Doctor Strange, I love Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange as a character, it really appeals to me because he's kind of like he just studies. Like he's just studied a way to become.
But you don't think he's just like Iron Man? But if Tony Stark went to Tony Stark could be Doctor Strange if he went and studied at that place. What's that? Camartage. If he went and studied there, he could just be. Why not?
Because you got to have the personality.
No, but they're exactly the same.
No, they're not.
Right down to the facial hair. And the fact that both actors also played Sherlock Holmes.
What I find hilarious is that Edric Cumberbatch, like
Benedict.
Frederick Campbellbatch? I'm sorry. That was bad.
Yeah, that was. Keep
bad.
going.
I didn't actually mean to say it. Anyway.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Basically, Doctor Strange in the Marvel Universe is, like, super powerful.
Yeah.
In fact, he's meant to be more powerful than, like, Thanos with the Infinity Glove.
Yeah.
But,
I'm just going to fact check you on that while you talk. Go for it.
Yeah, do fact check me on that. He's kind of like... He's rated in the same level as, like, the Phoenix Force and that kind of stuff. I thought. I could be wrong. He might be a step down. But I really, really enjoyed the fact that basically, in, like, 3 months since the movie's ended, he's basically, like, can destroy Thor and Loki. He kind of just, like... controls them.
That depends on the timeline of these films, like how much time has passed and when in the Marvel Universe Doctor Strange.
Well, like you said, it has to be past Avengers 2, right?
Well, who knows? Some people think that it might have been set across between Avengers and Avengers. Before Avengers 2 and across that time.
But when you argue... I guess Ultron isn't an outside force. He was created by
Tony Stark, who's the source of all the problems in the Marvel Universe.
Honestly, Tony Stark is actually the source of all the problems. But, I think... Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just really cool. Like, Loki goes to him you think this is magic? I'll show you real magic. And he's just like, goodbye.
Goodbye. Shunk. And just transports them off to Norway.
Yeah, just drops them in Norway, which is quite cool. Because Norway, obviously, if you know anything about Norway, is the home of the Norse gods and where the original stories came from.
Yeah.
And, I just thought adding Doctor Strange and just added an extra little bit of flair. I do feel like they tried to do too much in one movie.
Yeah. Too many stories. Yeah,
I feel like they were like, well, Hela's the main story, but she's not really, like, she's so powerful that, like, the moment that battle happens, like, it's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, she just wins. Like, there's no... It's got the same feeling as a Superman movie, where, like, you're like, how do you beat Superman? There's, like, one of two ways. Either kryptonite or another super being. And you're kind of like, if you don't have those... like, and that's why I always found Superman movies real boring.
Yeah.
Because Superman was just like... He's a boring superhero. He's just invincible. You can't kill him. And the only way you can kill him is with kryptonite. And so everything has to revolve around kryptonite to get rid of him.
Yeah.
So,
unless you have someone who's just as powerful, like Zod or Shazam or someone like that.
Yeah. But Shazam's not as powerful. Did they say Shazam's?
He's kind of can go toe to toe with Superman. Yeah. Plus, he's magic based, so his lightning bolt can harm Superman because Superman can be harmed by magic.
Yeah.
So
But still, the Superman movies. At least DC haven't really done any movies where magic has been involved. They've kind of kept within the.
Although there is a Shazam movie coming out in 2019.
Super excited.
Yeah,
I love Shazam.
Yeah.
Because it's like a 12-year-old kid who's actually like, the wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Shazam! Yeah. Anyway, so Hela's kind of, that all-powerful lady, and so they kind of were like, well, we got to have some kind of filler. And so it felt like the Grand Master in that world was like a filler. Yeah. Like a gigantic hour-and-a-half filler.
For Thor to kind of realize his powers and grow into his, like...
Yeah...
Because he had that moment in the ring with Hulk. The Thor vs. Hulk fight was good. I enjoyed it.
Oh, it was really good.
It was really good, but I felt again like they kind of... You had this problem as well, that like they stuck the electric shocky thing on his neck.
Yeah.
And that, like... He's the god of thunder and lightning, and he has, like, in the ring, he like... hulks up with lightning bolts and stuff like this.
So basically his power that was Mjolnir was
a channel for his
power. He
a way to focus
didn't need
his power.
Mjolnir anymore to focus his power. So it was coming straight into him.
Yeah.
But the way that like the whole premise of how Thor like was being like controlled by the Master was this like little piece of plastic that metal that gave him an electric shock and knocked him out.
Yeah.
But
he's the god of thunder.
He's the god of thunder.
Like and he shocked it, like he was going to waste the Hulk essentially. That's why he had one more hit and he was down. The Hulk was down. And then he goes to do the punch and the Grandmaster shocks him, but he's got lightning coming out of his body at that point. So it's like surely either it wouldn't affect him or the lightning in him would have short-circuited the device or something like that.
I would have been more... it wouldn't have been that hard for them to... When Hela destroyed Mjolnir at the start, before the Bifrost took them...
Yeah.
Just for her to have, like, thrown a dagger and it hit him.
Yeah.
And, like, then them just be like, oh, the dagger was poisoned.
Yeah.
And, like... And then be like, okay, and then have something else was the reason that
weakened him.
That weakened him. Like, and the Grandmaster was just like... Or even not even Hela do it. Just like when they arrive, the Grandmaster, it's a poison, not a shocky
not
thing.
A shock, yeah.
Like they're just keeping him...
Or he could have done like Gladiator styles where Commodus stabs Maximus before the show, but instead of making it a fair fight, he always tips it in favor of his champion by like poisoning or like handicapping them in some other way.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the reason that I'm annoyed, and I guess that you're pretty annoyed with Thor in general to the Marvel.
He's so depowered. Yeah.
It's because they've basically just gone, well, Thor's a god, but we can't really have him be able to beat anyone, so we're just going to make him the same level as Iron Man.
Avengers, but his power's so up and down, because in Avengers he just unless he was really, really holding his punches, he was just not even really damaging Iron Man. The punch that he used to punch the Hulk with, just a general one. And then, in the same movie, he goes toe-to-toe with the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so he's all over the place. And then in this movie, without his hammer, which we now know is not actually a source of his power, but is a channel for his power, he just picks up a guy with one hand and throws him, and it's just pew! Off, way off. And so, then he's punching the Hulk and he's holding his own without any problems.
Yeah, and when obviously when Iron Man fought the Hulk, he had to have the Hulkbuster suit on to even start to control the Hulk.
Kind of hold his own, even you know.
He lost anyway, even in the Hulkbuster suit.
Yeah, so you kind of go, well, Thor's all over the place.
Thor's it's I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today, so I'm just gonna not be as strong.
Yeah. So anyway, that kind of annoyed me, but about that I'm dark about Thor overall, because he is so much more powerful than that in the comics, just generally. But anyway, but I enjoyed the fight. It was a great fight. It was totally worth it. It dragged it out long enough that you kind of go, yeah, this is awesome.
Nice.
And I love Korg too.
Yeah, Korg.
Korg is so
Korg's
good
the best.
with his accent and his
banter.
Just such a lovely guy. When he's talking with Thor about Mjolnir, and Thor's and I used to be able to spin it round and throw it, and it would pull me off, and I could fly. And he's like, "Oh my god, the hammer pulled you off!"
Yeah,
what?
yeah. And all of the Polynesians in the room just start cracking up.
It was so good though. Yeah. Just his accent was Mick's dead, eh?
Mick's dead.
And I've just been carrying him around all day because I felt real bad. And it's Mick's alive.
Which is the whole ghost ship.
Yeah,
comment.
Ghost ship. Yeah.
Ghost ship.
Oh no, he said, what did he say when Loki was talking to Thor, and he was he'd projected himself. He's like, piss off, ghost. And that's ghost chips. Yeah. I can't grab your ghost chips.
Yeah. It's if you don't know what ghost chips are, it's
I'm
really,
sure it's on YouTube. Yeah, you must know.
Yeah, it's a Kiwi drink driving ad that's we just love it, and it's quite sombering, but we love the ad. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a reference to that. So good.
Oh, Korgs, this place we can rebuild.
Yeah.
It could be
the foundations are still there.
It could be a salvation for all peoples from all across the universe. And then it just explodes. And then he's just
nah, that's gone,
it's gone, eh?
It's gone, eh? So good.
I love it, eh? Oh, man.
So good. But I was going to say as well, Hela, because I asked the question, how does death work? Because how do we know Hela's dead? She's the goddess of death. So how do you kill death?
Well, this is where Marvel Universe gets a bit weird, because
either her life force is bound to Asgard and now she's dead because Asgard is destroyed.
Yeah, but didn't they say Thor's powers also bound to Asgard?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, which is
maybe that's how they're going to depower him again for the Avengers Infinity War.
There is actually a character in the Marvel Universe called Death.
Yeah, no, Lady Death, yeah. That's who Thanos is on his quest to impress. So he wants to kill everyone so he can marry Death.
Doesn't Death date Deadpool at some point in the Marvel Universe?
Yeah, maybe, and Thanos gets really upset. But he can't kill Deadpool, so
yeah. Yeah, Deadpool can't die. Yeah, that's really bad. Yeah,
so anyway, that's that whole thing, and who knows, man? If she might come back in Infinity War, because you don't know if she's dead. I wouldn't put it past them to bring her back, because Loki in Thor, he falls off into space, and you're like, oh well, he's dead, but nah, but he's right there at the end of Captain America.
Oh hi there.
Yeah. My spirit is inside Eric Selvig, and then somehow I just appeared with the Tesseract doing something.
Let's be honest, it's Marvel. You can pretty much be like, I was brought back to life by the power of the...
Well, then Coulson was brought back to life for the TV show with some weird brainy thing that happened. Did you see that?
Was that the one where they could like remake
reanimated
brains?
I can't remember, but yeah, I mean, he was literally like, and I don't know what they were doing to his brain because he was like stabbed through the chest. But anyway,
no, that was a secret aliens regeneration
thing, yeah.
Thing,
but
so like
it was driving him insane.
Yeah,
or
it was driving
something?
him nuts. Yeah.
So anyway.
But that's because Defenders of S.H.I.E.L.D. was trash.
Well, it was good, then it got bad, but apparently now it's good again. But I've just stopped watching.
Like the first season was like okay, but they do that a lot actually. All those movies are like, DC does it a lot.
Yeah.
DC's like Arrow.
Yeah.
Great first season.
Yeah.
Trash. And then, like, apparently it's come back to being good again.
Yeah.
Same with Flash. Flash was good, and then it was trash.
Yeah.
I just want to say trash.
I saw him face Gorilla Grodd. I saw a battle, and I was just like, this is the worst CGI I've ever seen. Just him running around in circles. I'm like, how is this even a fight? Like, he just can move. Like, how is this gorilla even seeing him move? Like, you see how fast anyway, that's beside the point. So, Taylor,
I do want a Flash movie, though.
Yeah, well, I think there's one coming. He's in Justice League. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. Yeah.
Yeah, but are they is it going to be trash?
Nah,
you're not impressed with Star Wars. I'm not impressed with the Justice League.
Yeah, that's
I'm
cool,
excited,
bro.
but I'm not impressed.
That's cool, bro. Like, you've got nothing. Well, no, I suppose you do. But Joss Whedon basically took over Justice League, and he made the Avengers. So
Marvel screwed up because Joss Whedon's like
he's doing Batgirl now as well.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
Who's
but that's
Batgirl?
like I don't know. That's like 2021 or something like that.
It's
a while away. Yeah. So, but anyway, he basically took over. So there's way more bantering in it, and
they just
apparently he reshot a lot more of the connecting dialogue between the big action scenes because we all know Zack Snyder can do amazing action set pieces. Like the
fight scenes are always
just
incredible.
so good. But it's his connecting bits that kind of let him down. Yeah, it's the whole thing. So,
we're kind of going off track.
Yeah, no, but I was going to go. Do you think we're going to see Green Lantern?
I hope.
Yeah,
like a serious Green Lantern, not like that movie that does not exist.
No, so no. But I mean, you're going to see. Is it going to be Hal Jordan? Is it going to be a different Green Lantern? Kilowog, maybe.
I don't know. Actually, that's interesting. Well, because Green Lantern has and Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
I mean, are they going to have Martian Manhunter?
I don't know. But the rumor was like they've already cast someone as Green Lantern, but they're keeping it secret.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's like a surprise reveal. But I think, and there's the trailer where he's like, he said you'd come, now let's hope you're not too late. And everyone's like, oh, it's Superman! And some people are like, well, it could be Green Lantern.
I think Green Lantern would be cooler.
Yeah.
If it was Green Lantern, I'd be like...
Because like everyone knows Superman's going to come back.
Yeah,
because Henry Cavill has like tweeted that, he's all fit. And he tweeted like black suit as well. And I think they're like, oh, is it going to be black suit or something like that? So
I mean, I just don't like Superman as a hero. I just don't like the whole character of Superman.
Yeah.
I like Batman.
Yeah, Batman's legit. Good.
I like Green Lantern.
Yeah. So, okay.
Flash is my favorite.
Yeah. So, here's a question. Back to Thor.
Yeah.
Out of 10. So, we'll do a rating. We'll change our rating system each week, but each time. But this time, out of 10, what would you give Thor Ragnarok?
7 out of 10.
Yeah? I'd go like 8 out of 10. Yeah,
oh, you dropped. And I went up.
Yeah? 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Was that? Oh, there you go. 6. Were we 6 and 9 last time?
No, I don't think I was that low.
No, I really
enjoyed Thor.
I was 8 out of 10.
I think I'm just going to judge really harshly.
Yeah, you do that. We'll do a different rating for next week for something else, and we'll do a.
Next week we're actually going to Justice League.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be good.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
well, it's actually this week now.
It is now. It's like 3 days away.
Saturday. Yeah, but we're going on Saturday.
5 days. Yeah. No, exactly.
Because we have real jobs.
We do. Saturday's our day off. So anyway, guys, next time we'll wrap this up because we could just keep going and going. It's Justice League next time, so join us for that. But other than that, let us know what you think. Thor Ragnarok. your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions, your reviews. Let us know.
Your questions.
Yeah. Any
want to
trivia
know what
that we
you
might
think
not know.
That we know that you know that we want to know.
And that we don't know.
And other things.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time, but keep in touch. We'll see you later.